Hi everyone. Today we are going to resume our job searching strategy session. So without further ado, let's quickly see where we were. We were discussing job mindset and the mental model that we have for job searching. So moving further, we will be discussing what a job search itself is. Basically, job is like a sales funnel. So at times people think like job search is random, but it isn't. What it's actually basically you comes with an awareness like client apply for a sorry candidate apply for a job and recruiters see your profile. These are any two things. So first you need to be aware a job do exist, then there is an interest like either your resume gets shortlisted or you are like right away rejected. Then comes the consideration. The recruiter set a technical interview round, a behavioral interview round, or a system design interview. And then comes the decision part, the offer and the rejection. So you can see like there are like four steps, and there are multiple sort of rejection at different level. So let's say if you are not getting interviews, your problem is top of the funnel because your CVs are not getting shortlisted. So you are not even getting any interviews. So it means there is a problem at the top funnel. And if you are not getting offer, your problem is mid to bottom funnel. So I will quickly show you, like you can see awareness is there. You applied for a job, but you never receive a call from a recruiter. It means you are not getting shortlisted for the interviews, or your CV is not matching the job. So for some reason you are like getting rejected at the very top. But let's say if you are able to successfully land an interview and there are like multiple rounds, but still you do not get any offer and you haven't heard back from the recruiter, then there is an issue at these layers. So we'll be discussing those in details in future slides. So the three channels, basically applying blindly is the weakest strategy and referral are the fastest shortcuts. So if you wants to like get a job very fast, referrals can be a very tricky or fast shortcut for that. And we'll be discussing different channels. One channel can be a job board like LinkedIn, Indeed, or any other job board. But the reality is that these are highly competitive and low conversion. Why I'm saying so? Highly competitive in a sense because everyone have the access to it and people are applying there. So on a single job, there would be hundreds and more than hundreds of CVs being sent, and your CV might not get shortlisted or might not even get noticed by the recruiter. So this is the very reason there is a low conversion rate. Then comes the referral. Referrals are usually having higher conversion rate because when the referrals are being done, it means your CV directly passed to a human. So it passes the middle layer, the digital layer, or nowadays the AI layer, and it directly reaches the hand of a human. So this is where the referrals are effective. They are like somewhat bypassing or helping you move from the first top of the job search strategy. Then there is a direct outreach, like recruiter, hiring manager. This is a bit underrated, but it's still powerful compared to the job boards because at least you get noticed by the recruiter or hiring manager. Then comes the invisible filter. Let's say if you are not getting any interviews, so you are basically not getting rejected by the human first, you are getting rejected by system, or I would say AI systems nowadays. ATS keywords matching. Let's say if you are applying for a job and it requires a certain keys or it requires a certain criteria and still you are applying, so at the very first layer you will be rejected because the key matching at ATS score will be there and it will be far below the one which is matching their criteria, and your CV won't be getting through. Then comes the title matching. Then comes the skill aligned scoring and the experience pattern matching. So either your experience could be way too much or it could be way too less. Then comes the 80-20 job search rule. job search is itself is not an effort base, it's a strategy base, as I've already mentioned. Because what actually happens, 80% of the candidates apply randomly. They just randomly apply, but the 20% of candidates, they target companies. They identify where they can contribute and what are the particular roles that can like help them, or the companies uh, can get some help, or I would say get benefit from hiring that those individuals. And what does the 80% of candidates do? They just wait, and 20% they just tailor their resume for those specific targeted jobs. 80% of the candidate, what they do, they just refresh LinkedIn, find a new job, and use easy apply or apply to that, and they just keep waiting. Other like build referral pipelines, like they approach their connections, they approach the HR managers or the recruiters, and they somehow try to build a referral pipeline. And what they do, they track the application like a system. Then there comes the three layer for winning job search. So most people only work on one layer and wonder why results are poor. Let's say visibility is there. As I've already mentioned, your CV should be ATS optimized. And if it's not ATS optimized, you are not able to get hold of an interview. Then there comes the access layer, referral, networking. This is going to help. And then comes the conversion, which like action is the interview preparation. You need to be very well prepared for the interview to qualify for a job. Then comes the job leverage. So this is a bit different topic, but I'll be discussing. So this gives you an idea what the job leverage is and how it influence your like ability to negotiate on certain things. So it influence outcomes like salary, role, flexibility without increasing effort proportionally. So you need to assess what is your job leverage. So you just need to assess what is your job leverage. Now, job leverage by candidate situation. Different people do have different situations. Not all person are same. Let's say if someone have been laid off and they are immediately available, their low leverage is very low because there is an urgency and a financial need, and the strategy should be like focus on speed and accept a good enough role, because you need to bring cash flows. So this is the reason the leverage is very low. But there comes another situation when the person is employed but financially stable. So leverage is a bit of a medium. Time is available, less desperation, and he can be a bit selective, improve positioning and build skills. So this is a bit better situation compared to the first one. Then comes currently employed but unhappy with the job at hand. So the leverage is particularly very high because income safety net is there. So he can be selective and negotiate for better roles. Then comes currently employed, having a stable and growing. So leverage is very high, no urgency, strong position. So he can only target premium roles like going in big companies or any companies that have way better like rating than the one in which he currently is. And somewhat in a similar way, if you have a multiple offers in hand, leverage can be maximum. People are competing or companies are competing for you. So if you have distinct language skills or something like that, so this is it works. Then comes the financial positioning versus job leverage. So your bank balance and recurring expense directly affect your negotiation power. Let's say if you do have a financial, like say no saving or urgent saving, so your leverage is very low. You have to accept the job very quickly. If you do have a 3 to 6 month of saving, in leverage will be medium. You can evaluate options. If you have a saving of 6 to 12 months, your leverage will be very high. You can negotiate and wait. If you have a 1 year plus financial buffer, your impact on leverage is maximum. You can reject freely and target ideal roles and prepare accordingly. So then comes accept versus reject. Because if you are being like applying for job, there might be a situation then you have to either accept a job or a reject offer. So when should you accept? Very quickly. You are already laid off and you do not have any financial buffer, so you should accept any job very quickly. Market is slow or low opportunities, then again you should opt and go for like accepting a job quickly. Offer seems reasonable, not very perfect, but at least fair. So then you can accept that. Roles help you re-enter market fast. So if you are getting a role which is helping you re-enter the market fast, it's good to accept that. When you can be a bit selective, you already have a job, then you can be selective. Either you are going to go work with that job or not. You have a saving buffer, then you can negotiate. Your skills are in demand, so again you can negotiate or have a leverage. You are getting multiple interviews, then still you can be selective and negotiate. And when you should write together altogether, reject those offers. There are like toxic environment signals. There are like bad reviews, and you have got certain signals which we'll be discussing in the upcoming videos or slides. So you should reject that because it is going to uh, bring like toll on your mental health and physical health as well. Offer is below market value significantly. Let's say if it's way too below market, so it would be very difficult to regain your previous worth. If you accept this role, let's say you were working on an X salary and you have been offered half of that salary. So accepting that will be very detrimental to your career growth because to reach that again to the same X amount, it would be very hard. So only you should accept that if you do not have any cash buffer or any cash flow, then only you can accept that. Otherwise, you should not. Then comes like no growth or dead end role. So you should reject that. And you already have better lines. So one thing, the best time to build job leverage is when you don't need a job. So it's always like that if you already being laid off, so it's already way too late. So don't worry, you do not to, need to get stressed, but always the best time to build job leverage is when you don't need a job. Then comes up stay versus leave decision. At times we are working on a job and we are not able to identify when should we stay on a job and when should we leave. So there are like four core factors which I will help you evaluate. One is the learning. You need to ask yourself, am I growing? Then uh, you have to stay. If you are learning new skills relevant, and you should leave, work is repetitive and stagnant. Then comes the money. Am I paid fairly? If it's near market rate, and so you should stay. If it's underpaid, you can leave. Then comes the growth. Is there a future here, like clear promotion path or something? If there is no progression, you should leave. Then comes the environment. I rate this one of the most important thing because environment help you nurture. It brings mental to like toll on your mental or physical health if it's not good or if it's toxic. So you should stay in a healthy culture. But if it's a toxic environment and it brings burnout, you should leave. So out of these four, if like two or more factors are negative, you should start planning your exit. Then there is a time-based guideline. So if your role haven't changed in like 2 to 3 years, your growth has likely slowed. Like time in job is less than 6 months, so it's too early to judge because within 6 months you can't judge. So stay unless major red flags. So you are haven't seen any major red flags, so do stay over there. Within a span of 6 to 18 months, it's a learning phase. So you should stay if growth is strong. Then comes the 18 to 36 month. This is the decision zone. Evaluate growth with stagnation. If you are not growing, you should plan your exit. And if it's 3 plus year, then what it means you are already in a risk zone, likely time to move unless evolving. So then comes the skill versus comfort test. If you feel like comfortable, then seems like it's danger, low growth. If you feel challenged, it seems like growth is happening. If you are overly overwhelmed or consistently, so it's unsustainable. Let's say if you have been given so much challenges, it's like affecting your health or like causing distress to your mental health. So it's unsustainable. Don't consider this as a challenging environment. Consider this as an overwhelming environment. Make sure to difference, create, identify between these two. So then comes a like financial safety check. So you should never leave a job emotionally, like without any financial backup. Let's say if you do not have a saving, you should stay unless you have a backup. And if you have a 3 to 6 month backup, you can start exploring. And if you have a 6 month backup, then you can take a calculated risk. And there could be possible situation when you should leave immediately, like if you are not being paid the salary, there is any instability in the company, toxic environment is affecting your health very deeply, or that there are some ethical concerns or a bad management or zero learning or no future. And when should you stay? Like you are getting salary on time, at least your expenses are covered. You are still learning some valuable skills. Brand value of the company itself is strong, so staying there might be helpful in your CV. The market condition are weak and you do not have a best offer yet. So what is the strategic exit timing? Best time to leave when you have already another offer, when your skills are upgraded, when your market demand is strong and you are not very desperate. And worst time to leave is like emotionally frustrated, you are like financially pressured, no alternative ready. So this is the worst time. So this is the key takeaway. Don't leave a job because you are uncomfortable. Leave when you are no longer growing and you have something better aligned with your future. So with this being said, I'll be keeping this till here, and I'm very hopeful that you might have done certain things and certain new points and job strategy. In future, I'm going to discuss like a step by step strategy, how to improve your CV, how to target the certain jobs, what are the job boards you should target, how you can improve your referral strategy, how these are the things you can do to like improvise your job search. So thank you for watching. If you feel that it brings some like clarity to your job search, so feel free to subscribe and like this video. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.